All right. So here we go. One thing that's really aggravating is when somebody has to go be fashionably late. But hey, if you're here now, you're kind of at the pre-Instagram pre-show. Oh my gosh, will they get this thing straightened out? You always, that's right. Open it right there next to the mic. That works. That works. No, that works. Do that. Yeah. Yeah. So good. So good. Yeah, that's just great. Fantastic.
Okay, I know people in here, is there?
It's such a pig. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people.
Say what's up, people.
What's up, people? Look,
what's
there's
up?
Efrain.
I was talking to the people.
Look, Efrain's in there. Look. Hey, Efrain.
Hey. It's been a while. Huh?
It's been a while. Well, past 2 weeks have been rough.
This whole show has been fashionably late.
It's a real art. It's an art style. That's what we'll call it. It's an art to be fashionably late.
Exactly.
That's what we're discussing today. We're discussing about being late. What do you know about that, Jaden? Obviously, a lot.
I've mastered the art.
Yes. I blame your mother's family.
I'm making the coffee right now. Like, I'm making the coffee. I'm going to drink the stream.
But that's okay, because what we are the pre-show for your Saturday night. We are the group that you listen to as you're getting ready to go out and have fun, because you're an adult now.
Yeah.
You're an artistic adult. And that's it. We even late night is an art style.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying, right?
What is happening? It's so artistic I can't keep up.
It's so artistic you can't keep up.
I poured way too much milk into this. I burned my tongue. This is a great way to start the night.
Always. Absolutely. So we're just kind of waiting right now to get everybody in here. We do have Jaden tonight has a surprise. So
why do you say it like that?
Why do I say it like that? Because it is. It's a surprise.
You make it sound like it's special.
It is. It's very special. You know what the thing about this is, right? So I now have 2 monitors. I am medium sized because you're not big time, right? And having 2 monitors and 2, like, where are you going?
To check myself in the mirror. Anyway, see, I'm vain.
Oh my gosh. And the thing about it is, it's like having money. It's like, oh, $2 is not enough. $2 is not enough. Well, $2 is really not enough. Okay. $2,000 is not enough. Because when you have to, okay, you think, oh, when you have $2, $2,000 should be enough. And it really is. But $2,000 should be enough. But then you're like, whatever. And when you get to $2,000, then it's not enough. And that's what having 2 monitors is like.
Spoiled little man. I don't have any monitors.
My gosh. Oh, we're already getting spammers. Look at that.
Yippee!
I know.
That's how you know you've made it.
That's how you know.
I'm coming.
That's how you have a producer in the background. Be doing this kind of stuff.
Drum.
Say,
get to work.
ICN knows Jaden is always late.
Of course.
That's
what y'all don't see, though.
Artist.
Why do you think I had the P&G? Because I was not near him. I was probably in the back making coffee.
Efrain said today he met a man from Rancho Cucamonga, California. You never think that that's actually a real place, right?
That's a place?
That is a place. Well, it's like Timbuktu. Timbuktu is an actual place, too.
What?
There is a Timbuktu, Louisiana.
Are you kidding?
Absolutely. I saw a guy talking about this the other day. He's like, let me guess. You're like from one of those places that are named after other places, like Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, or what's it? Stuff like that. But that's what I think of with Timbuktu, Louisiana. Anyway,
we should live there.
In Timbuktu, Louisiana. I don't know. Considering where it is, it might be pretty sick. So,
I'd be happy to give my address if that was it.
Wait a minute. Hold on. But that's kind of cool. A man from Rancho Cucamonga.
That's a funny.
Meeting people has got to be an art style. It is. It's got to be. It's definitely a lifestyle. So that's cool. So, all right. Well, you know what? I think we should go ahead and get started. You want to do that?
Probably.
Let's count down.
views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or its sponsors.
All right, here we are. We are now live. Now, here's the special. Look at that! It's a walking, talking PNG tuber. Look at that. They are real, folks. They're real. Can you believe it?
Your waifu is real. I hope I'm not your waifu.
Oh my gosh, dude! How weird would that be to find out that like
if someone's
obsessed
had,
with
like,
you?
body pillows?
Oh my god!
Yeah, that would be so weird.
Oh, that would be freaking weird. Yeah.
I'm desperate. Anyway. So the show tonight, what are we doing?
so anyway,
get off camera.
You know what's really crazy about this is that Jaden has to actually look at herself on the TV, in the camera, and everything else.
Do you know that clip from Silicon Valley where they're like, "Oh, she's too autistic to even make eye contact with the camera"? I can't even make eye contact with myself. It's awkward.
Hey, Mike said they're getting $2. What's up, Mike? Welcome. Look, hey, look. There's over that way, this way. There's somebody. I keep remembering. If I point at the monitor's over here. If I point at the monitor, you can usually see where it's at. Oh, ICN says, "LOL, the green inside of your coffee cup." Will you stop messing with the camera? What? What are you doing? What are you doing? That's so not art style. We're doing it now. We're making this a thing. We're going to totally make this. I'm making it a thing.
Stop trying to make fetch a thing.
It's going to no. It's a thing now. It's a thing. That's not art style. That's it. I am definitely in with the cool kids today. I'm definitely. Anyway, you know what makes you kind of cool? If you know how to weld.
Yeah, I guess. It's dangerous.
It can be if you don't wear a mask. Okay, well, it's not a mask, but it's like a helmet. The thing about it is, like where I work, they got a whole bunch of welders, right? And the thing about it is, you actually have to wear. It's very blacked out. It's like an intense.
It looks sick.
No, wait, yeah, well, it looks like an intense set of sunglasses, but although not the glasses, it's a hood, right? So here's the thing about it is what you have to look for is called the arc. And when they hit this like a little wire metal thing and the little flame thing, and you hit, you have to follow the light. That's all you can see. Everything's blacked out, right? That's scary. It's an art style. That's what it is. Hey, Sam Diaz is in the chat. What's up, Sam? Good evening, sir. Yeah.
Hi.
So I love this though. You know what? I think the frame may have given us a future art style kamikaze, because here's the deal. Look, he says, come to visit Nazca lines. You know what those are, right? Those were those. I don't want to say crop circles because that feels disrespectful, but they're like they're the lines and things that are formed in the earth that make pictures of man and birds and stuff like that. They're not crop circles.
And aliens didn't put them there. Okay.
No, they actually do know who put them there. Nazca put them there. Jeez, we're not. Conspiracy and art style. Conspiracy is not art style. Anyway, so what? Okay, well, look, you've wasted my time enough. Oh, now I got a big old black blob box.
It's better than this one.
Anyway, I just made me think of something. Okay, so anyway, so what the hell am I talking about? Welding shapes. What was the point of the whole thing? Was to weld shapes. Welding shapes is what we're going to learn from this tutorial. Let me put it up here real quick. I've got two screens, so you have to be patient with us, guys. So we're going to make this big size. So now you get a little bit of a break. All right. So this is from Auto Destruct Digital, which I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put the ticker up there in case y'all want to check out that blog site, which is it was an art blog site. I don't know if I think it's still up. I got this off of Pinterest. Really? Yeah. So, but it's really interesting. But the guy had retired from his blog and came back to do this. So I don't know. This guy is his name is Paul Richards, and he's a concept designer or whatever the case is. I don't know. I assume he's still a concept designer. I don't know whatever the case is.
Stop being a concept designer.
No, even if you're walking down the street, you design concepts in your mind.
Ooh,
right?
That's so art style.
Oh, there. Now the cool kids are saying it.
The cool kids.
The cool kids.
God, I wish.
So anyway, he came here to give a couple of tips and advice on how to draw. Imagine that.
I sure hope so.
Yeah, let's hope, because then the show wouldn't make any sense.
I came here to do some cooking tutorials.
That's cooking tutorials.
As a concept
That's
design?
right. What you do is first you got to get a loaf of bread. Take 2 pieces of bread out. Put butter on both sides of the bread. And then you want to hit it the grill. Put some cheese. I'm making grilled cheese.
Oh.
Right.
See, I've never had to cook in my life.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't know.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I'll do all the work for me.
You will one day.
It's a life of luxury.
I bet. Don't tell people that. They will believe you. So first thing that comes up, there's a whole bunch of stuff here, guys. First thing that comes up is, firstly, as a self-plug, I'd like to thank Engineer, blah, blah, blah. We'll ignore that. Okay, so the first thing he's teaching us is wield and weld, right? So let's put this up real quick. So he's actually taking these 2 shapes, and he's made a plane out of one time, and then he made a dog. That's a really weird-looking dog.
Oh, I thought the plane was also a weird-looking dog.
I didn't teach you well enough, did I?
I'm at a weird angle, okay?
So let's see. I'm going to run this down. While a constructive drawing could feel like welding magic or weaponry instead of some mathematical chore. Good news, it can. In this talk, we'll temporarily set aside things like horizon lines and vanishing points, dealing only with our general sense of perspective. For some, this sense will be more developed. For others, not so much. Along the way, we'll touch on many concepts which are second nature to 3D modelers. Their tools are our tools and have been all along.
Oh.
See, what's sad is I'm not on camera when I do the all along. I have to.
They don't know what you're doing.
They don't. Let's hold on.
Oh, come on.
No.
This is so not art style of you.
This is. I'm totally being art style. All along. See, okay. So anyway, so mistakes will be made, but be forgiving. Our flawed human construction will actually aid us in ways perfect computer-driven construction won't.
True.
Ooh, this is back in 2014. Seems like a bit of foreshadowing. The idea will be to wield the geometry we know, then weld it together to create the rest. So, without further ado, let's begin with the first part, welding. And I think this, and the reason why I decided to do this is because I think this fits in well with the previous art style kamikazes that we've been doing, where we were dealing with different shapes and put them together, and we came up with this amalgamation and just detestable creatures that we came up with when we were doing Islington Brothers.
Yes.
Right, absolutely.
That was the funnest day.
It was it really?
I love abusing power.
That is so art style. So art style. I want you, if you're in the chat right now, comment
Please don't do
if this is art style.
No.
This is
No.
art style.
No.
Totally art style.
No. Why?
So here we go. Your friends. Hey, we remember these guys. They're from the old neighborhood, right? Hey.
Is that
Hey.
cute? You're supposed to know these people?
That's the one that they had to come to the house and tell us that they,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
You got to stay away from that one, you know.
Don't
'Cause
talk to Q.
that's right. You know, they had that court order where basically they had
Oh no.
they had to come and tell us that they were moving into the neighborhood.
Oh no.
Keep away from kids. Anyway, your friends, box, cylinder, ball, and cone. So, and I was about to say coin. You see how I kind of threw that away? You know what? Talking is an art style.
I'm leaving. That's it.
Nobody
That's
will
all.
see you.
You
You're not
have
on camera.
maxed out. Damn.
So, okay, so we're familiar with this, right? You know, it's your square, your circle, your triangle, and that other
Most
odd guy.
of these
out.
I met in kindergarten, I believe.
Just a couple of them. Just a
few.
couple of them.
Like I said, I don't think cube is allowed in kindergartens.
Cube is definitely not allowed in kindergarten. Look how don't trust anything with 6 sides. That's all I'm saying.
No.
2-faced, 6-sided face.
Same thing.
Same thing. Whatever. So your friends, box, cylinder, ball, and cone. So we are familiar with them. We have talked about them before. Now trends in art come and go. I think that might be a typo. Let's try that again. Trends in art come and go. But primitive geometry stays the same, much like the cube who's still living in the neighborhood.
Oh.
Here are some familiar characters. Time with the primitives is time well spent. So get to know these guys. They are your friends. They are your friends.
Aww.
Now I feel like they're drive up in a white van without windows.
Oh.
They are your friends. Your friends reversed. So does that make them your enemies? These are your enemies. So these are your normals flipped out, right? So geometry turned inside out. Oh my gosh, we are flipping things around today, folks. That's right.
That's different.
That is different.
That is so different.
That's different. Can you
We've
imagine?
never done that.
Now that circle is upside down. Can you tell?
There's more lines on that.
There's. It's so art style. Anyway.
Shut up.
I mean, I will, because I'm going to annoy everybody else with that. Also, get to know the primitives in their inside-out states. In 3D modeling, the reversal is known as flipping the normals. Can you remember that? I won't remember
Flipping the normals.
Flipping the normals. I've read this tutorial before.
I will remember that, but for the wrong reasons. It just doesn't sound right.
It sounds like you're going around through suburban neighborhoods and just flipping people over.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, hello, little girl.
Do you want to go flip the normals?
Let's go
Is
flip
there
the
cows?
normals. Hey, it's the Johnsons. Let's flip them over. Yeah, exactly. Like tipping cows. We're going to be tipping Suburbans.
Tipping some Karens.
Some Karens deserve to be tipped.
They probably sound the same as when you get tip cows.
A normal is a direction a plane faces outward, inward, up, down, left, right, and everywhere in between. Let me reread that.
And cactus.
Let me reread that. Okay. So a normal is the direction a plane faces. So when an airplane is heading north.
I knew where this was going.
So okay, so a plane faces. So let's recap what a plane is real quick. Okay.
Planes don't have faces. They have wings.
They do have faces. What was that one? That was a cartoon they had with the jet plane had the face. It was a total rip off of Thomas Tank Engine.
Girl, I wish I could remember.
I don't you know.
It was probably Nightmare.
Blippy?
No.
Blippy?
That's
I
new.
can't remember. No. That's what I call Jinbei in One Piece. Is Blippy. Couldn't remember his name. Whatever. Anyway, so a plane is basically, take our friend the cube. The cube has a forward-facing plane. That's the plane you see. That's that side you see, and then you have a back plane. That's the side you don't see. A top plane, so on. And understanding those planes like X, Y, Z, like when you're making a figure or you're doing a dynamic form, setting pieces of that dynamic form on separate planes. Like you have plane X, you have plane Z, and you have plane Y. All right, I know I totally put that out exactly, but so in order to give you that dynamic effect, that coming at you effect, what you have is you'll put one piece on plane X, another piece on plane Z, and another piece on plane Y. So you have that effect. So that's what we're talking about. That's what kind of thing that you want to think of. So when we're flipping normals, that's what we're getting to geometry turned inside out. And you can see, especially right here on the cube, it really helps because if you put something here, something down there, and then something over here, you can get an idea. It's in itself that cube is perspective.
Yeah.
Right. So that helps you to understand and to think that way.
Ooh.
Yeah. I've actually seen it to where getting foreshadow where you would take a grid like this and you would put like a point here, a point on the back wall, a point down there, and your hand would be on this first point and the head back here on this other point and your foot on this other one. And it's supposed to help you out with foreshadowing. However, I would suggest, honestly, That's not. I would mix that with what I've learned from Rodgan over on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Rogdon.
I think it's
Rogdon.
Rogdon.
Rogdon. Go check him out, guys. I'm
Rogdon
telling
the
you, he's
artist?
got Rogdon the artist has a really great and simple way to teach you how to do art. And that's another thing that I want to do is I want to take some of that stuff and show how just because it looks cartoony or just because it looks real does not mean that you can't apply those principles to your art style.
Exactly.
Never pass up a tutorial that might teach you something just because you don't like the art style. And I've talked about this. Because those principles of art are found in anatomy, are found in physical reality, so
Yeah, exactly.
so they're going to help. If the face is off on a cartoon, the chances are the face would be off on a real life person. It doesn't matter. And that's it. So your friend's reversed. Let's keep that in mind. We're gearing up. I'm going to do a little bit of drawing on this thing, right? And it's going to look like crap, right? So, but
going Gilbert Godfrey.
no, that's not Gilbert Godfrey. You have
Oh,
no idea.
No, I got no clue.
You have no. Gilbert Godfrey was Iago from Aladdin. No one that talk like this.
That's what I was thinking.
That's not Affleck.
Yeah,
that kind
I was
of thing.
thinking the duck.
That's a horrible Gilbert Godfrey.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Could
agree
replace
with
him
me.
anytime soon. That's all I'm saying.
So here we go. Normals explained. Let's get a look at that picture. All right. And we looked at it.
Nice.
Nice.
We did it.
Now
Right,
think
that's
of normals like thorns on a cactus, pointing in the direction of the planes they lie on. If you have difficulty envisioning what an individual plane looks like, think of a little piece of tissue paper on the chin of someone who's cut themselves shaving.
I don't want to think that.
Well, look, good, because guess what? He's given us
An example.
an example, and I'm not going to go searching for examples. Hot doggity dog.
You found some plants though.
Yeah, I did. I want to let's gear up on this real quick. See, so the idea what he's talking about is you have a little piece of square. No tissue paper coat tears off that easily.
No.
But what it's doing is it's a square, right? But it's fitting on the curvature of his chin. And so that just shows you, but you see where it's at. If you see at the bottom of that tissue paper, it drops off on the bottom part of his chin or the front part of his chin. This is on like the top of his chin, right? So this is a plane here on the top of the chin, and then the front of the chin at the bottom of that square is the front is a front plane.
Showing dimension.
Right. So that's what he said. So you want to keep that in mind. Maybe that's a great visual, for us and for folks out there to keep that in mind. But that's the thing that we need to think of when drawing. How to draw, how to think while you're drawing. I've heard that from somewhere. I can't remember where.
It's not ringing any bells.
No, not ringing any bells. Huh? Again, if you guys want to check this out or any other that they have over there, I'm gonna run this ticker for about the next minute. And it is autodestructdigital.blogspot.com. I didn't say that right, did I? No.
Blogspot.
Blogspot.
Can we make that a thing before we make art style a thing?
No. Autodestruct.digital.blogspot.com. Why is that hard to say? Is that like a Louisiana accent problem? I don't know.
Maybe.
All right, so here we go.
Where are you from?
Yeah, probably. Elongated. Your friend's elongated. Oh my gosh, we're stretching them out now.
I don't want to see cube elongated.
Now this sounds a little kinky, but
unnecessary.
So we're taking it. We're thinking normal. We're flipping normals. Now we're elongating normals.
Let's stop doing stuff to those normals.
And yet we're still calling them our friends. I feel like we might be gaslighting.
This is a bit strange.
So, but and this is going to help us in our idea of how we look at things. And one thing that we want to train is our brain to look at things like an artist, right?
Yeah. Be able to think like an artist even when you're not drawing.
Right. When you look at somebody's face, you want to go, "Oh my gosh, that's an elongated cube," or worse yet, "Oh my gosh, that's a flipped cone." It's
yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, right.
Unfortunate person.
Unfortunately, it's a flipped cube. Oh my gosh. So your friend's elongated. So of course this is the cube, the cylinder, the circle, and the triangle all flipped around. Here the primitives stretch along the vertical axis. You can perform this pull horizontally as well, stretching the geometry out like taffy.
Ooh, you can stretch that.
And now here are your friends, truncated.
Truncated. That's a funny word.
Now, they're not justified. They're truncated.
I think I just learned that word actually.
Oh, yeah?
Live.
Awesome.
Yep.
Oh, good, because so did I. Truncated. Here is geometry squashed flat. These are the hockey pucks, droplets, mouse traps, etc. And my mouse is starting to act up already. Great. So stay with me. Apparently, Windows 11 is a monster sometimes with the mouse. So, okay, and now here's your friends. Well, let's go back. Hold on. I didn't. So truncated. So basically, this is your friends squashed. Like bugs.
No.
You're flipping the normals. You're squashing the normals. Oh my
They're
gosh.
not
This is
friends
so
at
good.
this point. They're our victims.
If they are our friends, who's really the friend here? If they're still sticking
They're
around,
sticking
they're
around.
our friends.
Yeah,
But we're not theirs.
clearly.
No. It's kind of like your best. You have best friends, right? You can be somebody's best friend, but they are not necessarily your best friend.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I'm usually the one to
This
consider
is-
people best friends.
This is
and
why I
not
don't
be
mess
their
around
best
with
friend.
favors, because it's very sticky. It's not as black and white as everybody likes to act like it is. It's not.
It's
It's
all
just not.
stemmed from shapes.
And when you truncate your friends, this is what happens. So your friends truncated or squished.
I like truncated. I'm gonna
You
start
like
saying that
truncated?
now.
Okay. Then you have your friends skewed. This is putting them on a diagonal plane, right?
Like you slapped them in the face.
Right.
And they're stuck like that.
That's stuck like that. It's so horrible. Poor guys. And then you have tapered geometry.
They lost some weight.
Here's geometry pinched at one end and bowed at the other. Okay, and this, of course, will be very important. Not only is this important in just coming up with shapes for faces and bodies and things of that nature, this also comes important when you are doing perspective, right? So this is going. I think we're going to end up playing in a lot of this later on.
I hope so.
And rounded. Your friends rounded. So this is when they get fat because they're depressed. Because we
Because I
have
keep
flipped,
confusing
inverted, and squished and stretched them and skewed them all over the freaking place. Now they're
Reached
eating.
their limit.
Now they're eating their feelings. This is what happens. This is what happens when you
Look at
treat
the
people
chunky.
wrong. That's right. Poor guys.
Poor Circle is already pretty fat to begin with.
Poor Circle's
Can't
just
get more round.
getting more obese. Here's a geometry with all its shapes, edges filed down. The opposite of round geometry is faceted geometry, as seen in diamonds. Oh my gosh! And so here are your friends bent. This
They're
is now
so depressed.
not only now they're at the alcoholic stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're on their last
They're
leg,
good,
man.
sis.
They're not going to make it.
So here's the geometry doubled over, creased or drooping like flexible noodles. Two curled cylinders join at the ends, form another, less known primitive called a torus or torrid.
Interesting.
Torrid. Okay.
More like
I'm not going to remember any of these words. Just let you know now. But here we go. Here's the great thing. Now we get into shape stacking. Shape stacking, acting like we're sketch stacking. Going to put in everything as if we're going backpacking. So
What
you
the
have
hell?
comment.
Just happened.
Here's what happens
Let's
when we
just not address
crossbreed.
that, I guess.
That was art style.
Oh God.
Here's what happens when we crossbreed primitives. There are many combinations, so experiment with mating them.
Oh God, we're crossbreeding them
That's a hell of a way to record. Here's what happens when we crossbreed primitives. There are many combinations, so experiment with mating them to produce.
You should
Offspring,
not
different
have
offspring.
used the friend language. You couldn't have picked a worse way to phrase this.
Well, please do not
I
base
don't
how
do
you
this
treat
to
your
my friends. I
on
do not
this.
treat my friends like this.
Oh my
Rarely do I
gosh.
crossbreed my friends.
Rarely. Wait.
There are
Wait.
special occasions. I mean, come on.
Wait, hold on. Rarely. Does that mean that you do you do crossbreed your friends?
I don't need to justify
Let's talk
myself
about
to
this
you.
for a second.
You don't know what we get up to. You don't know what we do. You don't know how it is. You wouldn't know. You don't have
As long as you're not truncated them and torrided them
I do
and
toward them.
but you skew
Don't
them
get it
sometimes.
mistaken.
Well, you'd have to skew them if you're going to crossbreed.
Of course.
Right.
Of course. You have to.
That's what it is.
And sometimes they get elongated too.
That's because they're depressed. You crossbred them with the wrong people. So here's what happens when you crossbreed primitives. So we have, so you have the cone and the circle. They make a bell or a teardrop. A cylinder and a circle, which I thought was the same thing, but I'm wrong, equals a barrel. So on and so forth, right? Okay. And then we have mods. Ouch. So we can modify the primitives in all sorts of ways, shearing them off, creating convexities and concavities, or punching them full of holes. We're not going to remember this. I feel like tonight's art style should have a vocabulary.
Yeah, we need
at
like
the end of it. Here's a vocabulary, right? Well, when I was a kid, you used to have that in the back. Oh, I know what. Even better. If you ever pick up a Dianetics book, Dianetics is the Church of Scientology.
Oh my God.
Okay, so now if you ever pick up a Dianetics book and pick it up, it uses a whole bunch of terminology in there.
Just made up words. Like Scientology?
We're not talking about whether or not Scientology is made up.
I'm just saying the word is.
But they have certain words in it. The good thing about a Dianetics book is at the end of the Dianetics book, there is a vocabulary and a dictionary so you can understand what those words are. Can you imagine trying to get somebody to subscribe to your belief system? And it's like, well, what's this word? I don't know. Look in the back. It's like, is there a class that we take for this type of thing?
It's so funny to think they hand them the book. And I don't know what that word means, man. You gotta look at the back pages.
What is it?
I think I've read this.
Extraneurate. Well, that's in the back. See? Look under E.
Chapter 13.
So it's very hard to get through that. And mind you now, L. Ron Hubbard, who started Scientology, he was a science fiction writer. He wasn't making much money out of it. And if you've seen Conflict Earth, you'd understand why. So anyway,
interesting.
So here's sheared. Here's a sheared mob. And then we have indented, which is concave, which is,
when you beat them.
Well, it's like when you think of that, how you think of that is like caved in, right? Concave. Or indented is probably better. Or extruded, convex, that's sticking out, right? So we've taken the cylinder, we've modified it, we've cut it, we've punched a hole in the circle. And now after we punched a hole in the circle, it grew a lump. Oh my gosh, this is so fooly-cooly. Like, I'm just waiting for a robot to come out of it, right?
Oh my God.
Oh, are you kidding me? I've been waiting to bring up fooly-cooly. This is how you bring up fooly-cooly.
No one is even going to notice. So smooth. You slid it in there. Like
that's right. Now, we can modify the primitives in all sorts of ways. Look, here you go.
When you shoot it?
It's like, it was just perfectly fine by itself, right? It was just minding its own business. And then you just started punching into it. And it's all concave, convex, and everything else like that. So here we go. This is your best friend, the spleen.
Oh, spleen.
The spleen.
There is an L there. I'm dyslexic. Don't judge me.
Now, before we get into this, what do you think the spleen is?
I think it's a body part.
Well, that is true.
I think I have one, actually. I haven't checked in a while.
Unless they've removed the spleen, which that has been done before, but I don't think you want that done.
That must be like a new update. I haven't gotten that one yet.
So, the new spleen?
The new spleen, yeah.
The new spleen?
No
or
spleen.
The absence of the spleen.
Absence.
So, you can see...
It's a DLC.
So, what does that look like to you?
Line.
Okay, but in art terminology.
Oh, the line of action.
There you go. Exactly. It looks like the line of action. And for those who are not familiar with that, the line of action is basically a line that helps to guide you into forming your shapes,
the poses or
your pose.
Exactly. It's the flow of the drawing.
It's the flow. So perhaps your best friend of all is the spleen or spline. Maybe it's spline. Maybe I'm saying that wrong.
I think that's worse.
Okay, we'll say no, because spleen is spelled S-P-L-E-E-N. I think that's a spline.
Spline?
Yeah, it's like your spine, but it's a line, so it's a spline. I think it's guys making this up. Somebody made this up.
God, it's just first we're killing our friends, and now there's a spline.
There's a spline. So perhaps your best friend of all is the spline. A spline is a line which exists in space. They can be used to construct. What? We're live.
Interrupt again, I dare you.
Perhaps your best friend of all is a spline. A spline is a line which exists in space. They can be used to construct, wield, or connect, weld. So
There's some boxes.
So lines rest, splines travel. All right, so this is just resting, but the spline is moving like an S. He says, Mike says, "You are live." Thanks, Mike.
Wait, we are?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You really didn't know that?
No.
Well, yeah, oh my gosh.
I would have like put some effort in my appearance at the least. I mean, look at me. I look terrible.
You're very dark. So okay, so we're done with the spline. Wait,
Can we stop saying it now?
Lines rest, splines travel. Points, the simplest marks. All right. So splines are simply points, dots, the simplest marks, joined by straight lines or smooth curves, while merely lines rest, splines travel, sometimes spanning great distances and touching down in random places in their environment. The spline is a line which exists in space. You decide where the points touch.
Looks like a book.
Yeah. So, like geo along a spline. Splines span distances. So again, we're looking at that, you know, that foreshortening, right? I always want to say foreshadowing. It's like, no, that's not right.
When you're an artist and a writer, it's like
Yeah. If you've ever captured a firefly in a jaw.
a jaw. I've done that before.
Yeah, well, if you close your mouth more often, it wouldn't happen, would it?
I like to talk.
Now, if you've ever captured a firefly in a jar, you've seen a tiny glowing point create wavy flight paths. When we imbue our lines with the gestural playfulness of splines, each mark we wield becomes living geometry.
Whoa, that's gross.
So, okay. So here, let's do this. I want to give this a shot. Okay? So here's what we're going to do.
I was not ready?
You were not ready?
No.
All right. So we have a drawing page here. Right?
Yeah, I guess you could call it that.
And what we do here is so let's pick all right. So let's take this.
I can't write on that.
Exactly. So does that help? Does that make you feel better?
Okay. That's not what I would have written though.
I
Much
know.
more profane.
So let's make a box. Let's make a cube. All right, I'm gonna make a cube. This is a skewed cube, dude.
Skewed cube. Sounds French.
Let's go ahead and we're gonna make it a cube. So we're gonna make it truncated.
Truncated.
Or what is it? Squished?
No, it's no, we're saying truncated.
And that it's a little pinched. Okay.
I can tell the perspective.
So
it almost looks off though. Like
well, no, it is off. It is off. It's not perspective
off.
because yeah. Well, it's not. It's here's the deal. It's almost like it's on a curve. Oh, before I forget, the intro video with the person wearing the monster mask is terrifying. I was impressed. Oh, yeah, that's actually from Dispatches from Outside the Box, which I think you can find some of those videos still on ICN, where we talked about haunted houses. So I just kind of spliced it in there. Because haunted houses in themselves, we should totally do an art style haunted house edition, right? I mean, that's
Talk
art.
about the makeup and stuff.
All right, maybe we'll do that in the next couple of weeks. I know next week we're going to be doing colors.
We can talk about the time I went to the 13th gate, and I kept making like snappy, like, witty little comebacks to every jump scare, to the point where the people that we were touring the house with were like, "Okay, can someone shut her up? Like, she's actually getting on my nerves. Shut her up. I'm trying to have fun." Like, I got that bad. I was 12 years old. I was scared. That was my only response. Now that you're not talking, it's bringing me back to that time.
Anyway, so here we go. So we're going to make a point, right? Make a point here, a point there, and a point here. I'm going to make a point to shut you up. Here we go.
Well, you sure talk a lot.
Wow. Yes. So anyway, so here there's a spline, right? So across the spline, make a. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. I wonder if you could hear that. So here we are. So that was my job before makeup and props. I assume she means haunted housing. You can't. You're going to make your whole self disappear.
That's what I want to happen.
Oh, well, if that's the case.
Don't do it. Don't.
Oh no, you're gone. No, it's. Andy Comics Network says, "Well done." So anyway, we're talking about art. People don't give a shit about our crap. Anyway, so there's a spline. What do you? How would you do that in a circle, right?
How would you?
Let's see. Put it
Think
here.
about like a fishbowl.
Yeah, right. So we kind of like
Little
this,
fish.
right? In that sense, let's add a little bit more 3D depth to it, right? Like that, maybe.
Is that a hook?
Sure, it could be a hook. So what we would do here is like if I wanted to make that hook look like it's coming out at you, I would bring this line right here in some, and then have this outside line coming out like that. So now maybe add a little bit of shading or something right there. I don't know. So now it looks like a hook. Now it has a 3D feel to it, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
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 So and now it feels like it's in space, right? That's another trick too. Is this line that's going to come up before? It's kind of like forearm, right? Let's say you do an arm like that, like so, right?
Ooh.
But you want the arm to come out. The further in this line here comes in, the more it looks like that. The further it looks like that's coming out. For instance, let's do it again. Here.
Ooh. This is some sharp arms.
Not yeah. You want a hand here. There's a hand.
I don't know how to explain this, but you can tell you watching videos now. It's just the way that you do the hands.
But okay, but that arm's not moving. I mean, it's just going down, right? It's like, right? But let's say I'll come up this way, and now I want to bring that line in more, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now the hand is, what's it doing now?
Well, it's higher.
It's higher,
It's
right?
going to grab.
Right, because we made that line more than didn't it? Like so.
Magic.
Move your head when people see it. Yep. There you go.
I thought you just told me to do a
There
little
you
dance.
So basically that's how you get your 3D look, or your so the foreshading.
There you go.
Mother freaker! Yes, that.
The-
Right? So in itself, that's kind of a spline to understand that there, right? Okay.
That's actually an arm.
You're fired.
Spline. I hate that word.
Oh.
I hate it. Who'd you say did this?
Well, let's see. Now they had a plane, and what was interesting about this is they did this. And they look like they have squares in it. You make this okay. Let's add some perspective to that. So the back squares are going to be smaller than this, and the square in front's going to be bigger, right? That's how perspective works.
True.
Ta-da! So I
I
want to
read that in a book.
yes. Let's say over here on this plane here. Well, let's say X, Y, Z. Right? We talked about these planes. So over here, I'm going to put this plane and this. So this is doing this number here, right? So, right? Okay. So since this is forward, this is going to lap here. That's going to lap that. And that's going to do that. So we see that those splines really come in handy with helping us to understand space. And here's the deal, is when we can train ourselves to think this way, it will be easier for us, and I, myself included, because I haven't mastered this by a long shot, to understand for instance, if I put a foot here and a foot here, boom. Boom. And
They are getting jiggy with that eel.
that's right.
You're on the dance floor, bro.
They are having that. What? They are surfing.
Yeah.
Ooh, look. There.
Look at them go.
Look at my. There we go. That's high art
Effective.
right there.
Yes, that's
Right.
art style.
That's art style. You did it. You used it. Because it really is. All right, so let's go back to this real quick. That was fun. So if you've ever captured a firefly, okay. Now attractive geometry. Am I right? What? Attractive geometry. Now that we've discussed the basic forms to be welded, let's discuss ways of making them pretty.
I thought they were pretty as they were.
Oh my gosh. Look how, I feel like they're very cruel.
They are. These are your
It feels
friends.
very cruel. So unequal proportions. Are we fat shaming? Viewing this is what it feels like. Unequal proportions. All right. So viewing a primitive at an angle where its side appears equal creates an undesirable redundancy.
Interesting.
Well, okay, let's look. It's kind of flat,
I mean, they're right.
right?
They're right.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of flat. So,
Feels boring.
right. Chad says, first you draw a tube, then you draw another tube, then attach it to that tube into another tube, and make that into a face. Now you have a mess.
And that's how you draw.
That's how you draw. You make a mess.
You make a mess.
It's art style.
And sometimes it looks like something.
So unless you're intentionally going for a sense of balance or stability, there are always exceptions. Tilt or shape your geometry to introduce unequal portions. So receding that just got what geo meant. I'm thinking like, why are we talking about the earth all of a sudden? You know?
Oh, yeah.
But receding geo or geography that was wrong too.
Take your time.
Receding geometry. What?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I regret that.
You bet you do. Receding geo is not equally divided. See, so we just talked about that, right? I mean, that's exactly what I just said, right?
Yeah, it's like you jumped ahead of it.
Right, I did. So what we mean by that, of course, is I think the easiest one. Let's do a cylinder, right? So your cylinder is going to go. Let's say it's going to go back. So you're making circles on the cylinder, or it's rounded, right? But they're going to go smaller, and less makes sense. So okay, so here's your cylinder, and the further back we go, the closer those lines are going to look. Oh. Something like that. So that's what we're talking about.
Oh.
And look, here's a tube. And another tube.
That's what you get when you use
That's
all the
not a
toilet
tube.
paper.
It's a bad tube. I need somebody to teach me how to draw tubes. So anyway, so there's your tube.
It's very tube-like.
Very tube-like. So it's not equally divided, obviously. It's boring when everything's equal.
Exactly. That's why equality is a bad thing.
Oh, wow. I knew you were going to say that. Center lines in receding geometry do not occur at mid-length. True perspective creates an unequal center division in most cases. Let's call this off-center line. Okay, before we continue, let me say this. Hold on. If you haven't liked, subscribed, or shared, and hit the bell icon at the independentcommentnetwork.com, do that now. And if you're watching this over on Instagram, come over to YouTube because it's about to shut off over there. They only do 1 hour, and it looks like we only have so many things to go. Right. So anyway, whatever she's doing, looking like a Jedi Knight. Is that what? Like a Jedi Knight after Disney has pretty much ruined you, right? No, just kidding. That's what they say anyway. So go ahead. Come over to ICN. That's independencommentnetwork.com. Like, subscribe, and share. And join in the conversation. We love it when you participate.
We share a brain cell because I was just
right.
thinking like he hasn't done this yet. And I know what you're about to do.
It's interactive? You son of a bitch.
Yep, it's interactive.
I was literally just thinking like, wait, we haven't done that yet.
No.
How have you been? You look good. I'm feeling neurotic. I've been feeling a little neurotic lately.
Let's just get them all. Just get them all out of
Get
the
them
way.
all
Why
out the
don't
way.
we?
No, I need to make some new ones.
You
So,
do.
anyway. So here we go. So above we see the center line dividing a simple plane. It's a little off. Okay. One within which two and on top of which we have three. We have constructed a nose. That's a nose.
Where are the nostrils?
I think that is the nostrils.
This is an interesting angle. Yeah, I can see the Cupid's bow. Now that I'm looking at it.
I'm looking at it.
It doesn't help. The way that they have
I
it
want
cut off.
now. I want to go look at my nose.
The way that he's cut it off at the top is like that's what's throwing me off, man. The bridge is non-existent.
No, there's no.
There's no bridge, just nostrils.
There's nose bridge.
Nose. Get out of here.
It's almost like I'm a father. Because the two sides of the plane were made unequally, one side of the nose appears slightly larger and more dominant. This lack of redundant twined geometry is desirable. So we see the cube, that pesky cube, of course, with the plane, big side, small side. So furthermore, the back of receding geometry will always appear smaller than its front. Get these big small relationships right, and you will have a sort of shorthand perspective that will be sufficiently convincing and attractive. You know, I was thinking about this today. I have the frame perspective books by Marcos. Anyway, they're over there somewhere. So the thing about that is okay, I have those books. They're very technical in trying to learn this stuff. There's also I also have down there Scott Montgomery. I think that might be his name. Who also does it's how to move that Batman.
Yes, sir.
That should not be weird to anybody watching Independence Comic. So you see that how to draw book right there?
Yes, sir.
Can you see who it's by?
Pick it up. Scott Robertson.
Scott Robertson.
How did you forget that?
Because I did get Scott right. Give me that.
That's almost as basic as a.
He's not one of my friends. But okay, go ahead and look at that real quick. Well,
yes, sir.
And maybe we'll take a look at this book one day.
God, there's so many lines.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very technical.
This is like
right?
Architecture.
Yes, it's very technical. I would suggest getting familiar with it, but you're not unless you're really going to get into that. You don't need it. But
unless you're building
but here's the thing. But here's the deal. For comic art, you don't need that. For concept art, when you need to design those vehicles and stuff like that, sure, absolutely. Yeah. So it's all depending on what kind of art you want to get into. But I would suggest even not necessarily having to follow through with that all the way through. I would suggest learning some of it.
It's always good to know. You can dumb it down if necessary.
How do you? But you can't dumb something down unless you know it.
Exactly. You have to know the.
Otherwise, you're just dumb. So it's no doubt about it.
Experience he is. Wait, what? That was backwards.
You think I'm done, but really,
I am mysterious.
You go. So furthermore, the back of a receding geometry will always appear smaller than its front. So let's put that into play real quick. Give me a shape.
Shape?
Yeah.
Sure. Cone.
A cone. See,
I like sharp things.
Here's the thing about the cone, right? Okay, so it's always going to have that smaller side.
Oh yeah, for sure. If anyone hasn't noticed, I've got my hat over my hood because I'm just gangster like that.
That's right, 90s gangster.
Like a SoundCloud rapper.
But okay, so yeah, like you get a visual. Kim Jong-ji, Kim Ji. You know, you've seen him, right?
What language were you counting?
Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to go. We'll have to do an art style on it. He basically was able to.
Have.
He was basically able to draw in perspective, just thinking about where the perspective point was.
He didn't have to draw it?
No.
It's too much power.
And obviously, this is such a bad rendition of it. But that's one thing. And that's what kind of helps him get. Okay, we always. I can't believe I'm doing this. Jack Kirby.
He did it. You broke him.
Was able to, of course, the whole method that Jack Kirby was able to start at the top of a page and work his way down. And if Chad's watching, he is going to ring me over this. You were able to start. He was able to start at the top of the page and work his way down. Why? And we've talked about this. It's because he recognized shapes. And once you get the idea of shapes and that conclave, that back in that smaller, larger perspective, then you're going to be able to do the same thing. And next thing you know, you'll be putting out Jack Kirby type art. No, not necessarily.
Everyone will want to be like you.
Everybody like Mike. If I could be like Mike. You have no idea what that is, do you? I know.
I assume it's something old, maybe.
Who you think Mike is?
Not you.
No.
Nobody wants to be like you.
No, we've already had that discussion. So basically, it was that shape and everything, learning how to do the smaller shapes, the bigger shapes, and everything else like that helped to style it. And G was the same way. He would be able to draw somebody like coming out here, whatever, that type of thing, right?
Mischievously.
Right, mischievously.
Yes, I'm analyzing.
Because you're mischievous. Rosario says, we have a very good, talented young artist and the other guy. You say, go away, Rosario. Nobody asked you to be here.
I'm Jaden and I support this message.
I bet you do. Sucker. I can't believe he called you an older guy. That is horrible. I'm sorry, Jaden. I didn't mean for that to hurt. Anyway. So size variation. And look, I always seem to get ahead of this, right? So we have this now. The shape stacking, acting like we're sketch snacking, going and putting everything.
Stop doing that! Stop! They don't want to hear that.
That's the size, but that's how you remember. That's how you get. That's how you. It's called catechism.
If that's how you remember stuff, it's clearly not working because you're very forgetful.
But I don't make songs up for everything. But if I did, it would
be a nightmare. This would be hell. I'm sorry, I'm not more supportive than that. I love your stupid little songs, but they are stupid and little.
Rosario says, very happy to see you two working together here. Oh, thank you.
It's rare.
Yeah, this old man, he should learn something.
Hey, now.
Size variation. So again, small, medium, large. We talked about this when we went to do the character design for Easington Brothers, right? We talked about this. So we're just seeing that repeated pattern over again, and people are not just going to go, okay, well, we're done with this shit. This guy's starting that freaking shape language crap again. So to avoid redundancies in volume, switch from small, medium, and large geometry. So off-axis geometry. And so this is interesting. Okay. All axis. It's ax, like, an axis point. Or not, oh my gosh. Like, the world's on an axis, right? So all axis geometry.
Got any questions? You can access.
Wow. One has a new cover on Snowpaw and some bull dude suffering from shrinkage. Hey, I got books out there, Will Pace. They're out there. I got another one coming. Thank you.
Maybe.
Well, I do. No, it's. I only have a couple pages left on that one. It's coming eventually.
Maybe.
Actually, I've got 2 coming out. Thank you very much.
I like to discourage you.
Yes.
Gives me a leg up.
Yes, you do. Oh man. Anyway, people want to learn this. They don't want to hear about you. All axis geometry, opposing geometry, wrapping geometry, and vary geometry. It is very geometry. So off-axis geometry is simply geometry tilted slightly or dramatically away from dead-on front or side views. So in nature, we barely ever see anything that isn't tilted toward or away from us. This is why model sheets with orthographic views appear so bizarre and are hard to make look appealing. Where liveliness and attractiveness is desired, avoid dead-on geometry. So I feel like this is kind of a, this has been kind of a given here, right? This is what we've been talking about. This, that center line, that weird nose without the nose bridge. There's nose bridge. And then all axis geometry has objects facing in many directions, which is something real life presents us with all the time. If an object appears flat or stiff to us, a contributing reason may be lack of axis diversity. So, let's see. Axis diversity. So,
there's not enough axis in media these days.
I want to try this here. Okay, so we're moving out this way. So what if we do this like that?
They look so silly.
They do.
They're lopsided. It's beautiful. Just like in nature.
Right. So they're all going in different ways. Okay, so what would this look like? I mean, I guess this is back to the this is kind of back to the whole thing we were talking about before, right? With foreshortening and things like that. That would be a really weird building. Oh, who knows? I mean, that would come in later. Hey, there you go.
This is a funky little dude.
Yeah. It's gotten a lot longer than I thought this would.
Oh, thanks. That's usually how this goes.
Yeah, it does every time. So anyway, okay, now wrapping geometry is an intersection of disclosure where things are seen to travel around each other, i.e. a dog collar. It produces a strong overlapping depth cube, which puts down drawn geometry into the 3D realm faster than anything. So opposing geometry. Okay. Then we have an example is an opposing geometry. We talked about this, right? Did I mention varied? I kind of skipped one, didn't I?
Did you?
I think I did. Varied geometry makes use of several or all of the primitives in the same scene. Oh, wait. No, okay. This was, okay. Okay, I see what happens. Okay. Varied geometry makes use of several or all of the primitives in the same scene, which again is true to what we experience in real life. If everything in a scene is spherical, curved, or everything in a scene is cubic, straight, we will sense that something is off. And opposing geometry, and there's that varied geometry. It's like a clown or a duck with a birthday hat on.
Oh.
Yeah. You see that. Opposing geometry is geometry intersected by other geometry of a dramatically different normal. It goes against the grain and plays a part in wave geometry, which we'll get to soon. So, varied geometry, wrapping geometry. So, geometry that's on top of geometry. It's called shape stacking. An example of opposing geometry are two hinges planes welded here to create a new maw. So, okay, this did help me with mouths a little bit.
Yeah, I suck with mouths.
Mouths are really difficult.
They're so fluid, they kind of influence the rest of the face.
Like, see, you got the hinge and the spine. Okay. The hinge and the spine welding.
Makes me think of sock puppets.
Yeah. Well, maybe well, I mean, that's what you're kind of looking at, right? So let's talk about a hinge, but let's do it like a mouth, okay.
All right, sir.
So, using reference here.
You like that? Mm-hmm.
All right, stop.
Sorry, okay.
So this is your face, and we're using splines to get an idea of the mouth, right? this is not the greatest. There is.
That's a ton.
Let's put the nose here. So let me try to do this because this is not great example.
I can see the vision.
Yeah. Like this is your teeth, right here.
Yeah, I love teeth. Hate mouths, love teeth.
It's almost kind of like the jaws coming out, but
That's good. I like it. It was on the other picture too. So
yeah, there you go. So. So yeah, so understanding those geometries really already helped us get a better idea of teeth. I'm gonna make sure I don't give them those Tom Cruise teeth where one's like dead center.
poor guy. Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Dentistry is an art. So, and I think, and what's going to happen is once you continually do work on that and get it in your head, that's going to be it's going to be automatic before it's over with, right? So
built in.
Right. So it's going to be automatic. It's going to help you
Muscle memory and stuff.
Understand the corner of the mouth and up there, and of course, So I like mouths. I want to learn how to draw mouths better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
very
that's
important.
the thing. So, like,
They just suck.
And that was just. But if I wanted to do in where the hinges were the same, like that. Let's. I kind of get a bean shape.
Can't go wrong with a bean.
They hate that. Oh, it's the CalArts stuff. Well, you know what? CalArts, you know what CalArts is?
It's college, right?
It was. And it was set up by Disney to teach animation.
I didn't know that.
That's where CalArts came from. And the reason why, and people get upset by the bean mouth, but the deal about the bean mouth is this. When you're trying to produce animation and you want to tell a story, what that helps to do is to shorthand a vision, or whatever the case is when you're dealing with.
It's like the
mouse.
most simplified version of mouth.
It pretty much is. I mean,
And it's not why it would upset anybody unless they're looking for things to be upset about, because you can have this in any art style, really. Like if it's cartoony enough, it could be anything.
Well, okay, let's say
even
it's not.
anime.
Well, let's say it's not cartoony enough. Even still,
you can still apply it. Yeah.
You could have. Lip here and there, like so, say so. And I mean, it was an art college set up by Disney. I mean, come on.
The guy?
Well, I don't remember if he was alive for that one or not, but I believe so. Yeah. So cross sections. Normal direction, shape map. So let's keep that burned in your memory as we go forward. Hold on, I should probably put it up on the screen. So shape map. Cross sections are complicated shapes we can map into simple planes for further manipulation. As such, puzzle pieces, not so much puzzle pieces, less detail, more detail. This is something that I try to get. Now, I actually came across this when I was in the hospital. So when making cross section, it's best to avoid puzzle piecey shapes. Puzzle piecey. Let me say that again. Puzzle piecey shapes. Puzzle piecey shapes. All right. That are busy all the way around. Balance pure, simple sides with impure, more detailed ones. Okay. So extrusions. Once you've mapped the shape into a simple two-dimensional plane to create a cross-section, you can then extrude it. See here how different sides of the plane can be assigned as hinges to produce wedged extrusions? Mhm. Rail extrusions occur along a spline. Ah, so what does that mean? Okay. Okay, let's see if we can do this. So we have this here, and let's make a spline. All right. And I'm going to try to do this simple as possible. Here's the extrusion. Here's the complicated extrusion, right? So it's going to do this here. And see how it's following that spline wherever the extrusion is?
It's getting smaller and smaller spaces.
Right. And then it kind of goes and so on and so forth like that. So I encourage you, if you're watching this, experiment with this, because this is all this is really, is to help. And this is going to help us have a better idea of like those side planes. Like we want to draw better robots or better spaceships, right? And this is going to help with that. Like for instance, making this here. All right, this one will go that way, and that. So, making a machine piece or whatever the case is. I think that's one thing. Huh?
I'm full of caffeine, but I keep yawning.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome to being ADD. So, I mean, for instance, like say here, I'm going to draw. That's a complicated, detailed part, right? Boom. Okay, whatever. It's not that complicated. Gee whiz. But here, I'm going to go here, here, and here, right? So now I'm making it, and I would definitely take reference and use reference for this. Huh?
So far, so good.
Yeah. And so now I have a piece. But you see, but again, what we're dealing with is we have a complicated side and a not so complicated side, right? So it has a asymmetrical balance. This is interesting. For instance, let's say this. We could take this here. Let's do this. And I'm still getting my mechanic shape stuff right. But now let's do a pinched shape. Right? Nice, right? So now we're really starting to explore that mechanically look. Let's put a hinge or something there. Voila. And I want to show you somebody who does this better. Is of course this guy.
I think you did pretty good.
Mike says, I am saving this to my playlist of art instructions. Awesome. Again, like I say, but also check out that blog right there to learn some more stuff. I think they've got some cool stuff on there. I'm always open to let you guys know what I'm learning at the time. And this is stuff that I'd like to implement in practice, except I keep getting work and it keeps happening.
Oh, poor you. You keep getting work.
Yeah. So here we go. Shape stacking. At them like we're sketch stacking. Gonna put in everything as if we're going back. Shape stacking. Gonna have a heart attack in case we leave out anything and be accused of shape slacking. Anyway. That's what I do at work.
Are you like writing these down before the show?
No, but I'm learning them in my head. I made that up on the spot.
Yeah, I can tell.
You liar. Because I didn't. So stacked geometry, and this is really what I wanted to get into today. Look at that pig. That's an awesome pig.
That's right? A pig. It's a bunch of shit.
Oh, come on now. Exactly. Now that's an awesome pig. I love that pig. That pig is...
It looks polite. Looks friendly.
Look at all that geometry and all those shapes and everything. It's such a great shape language.
Stop. Don't get started on that.
Oh, no, I wasn't trying to be sensual at all.
No, I was just assuming that we were about to go on another shape
language. Oh, okay, good. I thought we were like shape tutorials.
We're going to have to pull up the pink thing again. Oh.
Let's not do that. So in our world, we rarely see objects arranged in neat rows with all component parts visible. Objects are stacked one in front of the other, sometimes densely so. To prevent ourselves from overrepresenting, we must obscure. See what kind of interesting stacks you can wield, varying the types, numbers, sizes, and elevations of geometry used. The wielded results will automatically possess an overly dreaded aspect of drawing called foreshadowing. Wrong! Foreshortening.
There you go.
Boom! Again, I'll read that. The welded results will automatically possess an overly dreaded aspect of drawing called foreshortening. So this entire time, he's tricked us into thinking that we were learning something cool like welding and actually learning how to foreshorten.
No!
That bastard!
Oh, God!
Damn it!
But I hate foreshortening.
Damn it!
He made it sound so cool.
Okay, well, let's say it's still welding. It's still welding.
They're
So
still our friends, right?
as pleasant a bonus, the overlapping lines of construction will provide grist for our imaginations, suggesting additional forms within the forms. Hence, this helps. We can see here
Forms within forms.
with forms within forms.
We're
And
getting
this is
a
where I
little
want to get
crazy.
to. This is what I'd like to get into. Now, a pleasant bonus of overlapping forms will provide grist for our imagine. So, hey, are you writing this down? You're writing this down, right?
In my brain.
In your brain. It's not going to
It's
help
not
me.
going to last very long.
You can.
But I still remember the word
It's
torch.
written in invisible ink on your brain. Is what we're saying,
Exactly.
right? So you can see in the following images how cross sections mapped into planes can be welded and welded to create volumes. Another way to stack geometry.
Fascinating. What's that shape?
A Google score? Or who was it? I don't know. Whatever shape you want to make out
Yeah,
of
for a
it.
second I believed you. Thought you were smart.
These kids, they said, hey, kids, you'll love it. No. Oh, no.
No.
Oh, I can't pick that picture up. What is wrong? So, okay, so
They're
you just have to use
gatekeeping it.
that. So that's that weld. So, okay, so we see the shape stacking here. We put together the cube, and it's a pinch cube, and a regular circle, and an elongated cone, and a thing. But also what I would like to take from this is, okay, this guides, it does not inform.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is this. Look at the tail.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? The tail is inside of that cylinder, but it's not the form of that cylinder.
No, it's not.
So it guides us into how we want that tail to look,
Exactly.
but it does not inform us how that tail should look.
Exactly, yeah.
So
The tail exists inside of the cylinder.
right. So it guides, not informs. It's one thing we have to keep, that I have to keep myself consistently remembering is that it guides, not informs.
Yes, exactly.
Because otherwise, I want to use the guidelines as another line in the product itself.
Like the sketch.
Right. So you don't want to do that. So we'll come back down here now to compatibility. Male, female,
I'm sorry,
male, female, male, female. Platform, cap.
This feels weirdly. Don't make me say it. But you know what I'm thinking. Oh, there's a heart. That is what's going on. Turn it off. Are we allowed to show this on YouTube?
Stop. Okay, so geometry looks fetching when the individual parts are in some way made for each other. The cup and the saucer, the plug and the outlet, the blocks are designed via male and female parts to interlock. In addition to fitting together, many things have a platform and a cap. An example of a flagpole has been used here, but a flower, a church wall, or a human being would have worked just as well. We have a body and a head.
That is true.
Yeah.
We do have those.
So,
I wish I.
so what is compatible? Gotta think of the compatible shapes. Ouch. It's hard to do. Wave geometry. Now, if symmetry is nature's calling card, wave geometry is its blood sample. We see its alternating rhythms in everything from tree branches to human anatomy to plumes of smoke. The more irregular the wave, the more natural it appears, which is weird to me. This always gets me. The more irregular it is, and I feel like I'm not I feel too stiff sometimes with this kind of thing. You know, I find it hard to be regular. Geometry is the study of rocks, says Chad.
Thank you, Chad.
The
He's so
study of
smart.
rocks.
He's so smart. He's probably got like a dictionary and stuff.
That's what he's doing. He's got a vocabulary. He's got a Dianetics book.
He's got a Dianetics.
It's symmetry is nature's calling card. Blah blah blah. Joseph Gillian is in his book Elemental Magic points out that our DNA, ocean waves, fire. I feel like we're being indoctrinated here. Joseph Gillian in his book Elemental Magic points out that our DNA, ocean waves, fire, mountain ranges, and entire galaxy are present versions of wave geometry. And as we can see here, you have a branch, a stick, and a stick, a plume of smoke, and a person. And it's just kind of like a line of beauty, as it were. So you have append and reduce. So this is kind of like your concave and convex, right? That we were talking about as far as shape is concerned. Now, after we wield simple geometry, we're able to add and subtract it, thereby complicating it. What?
What?
Okay.
Isn't it already complicated enough?
So what we're basically saying is, let's use our spline. All right, spline here and here. Here and there. All right. So we're using this now. We have this. Now, what he's talking about here is reduce. So if we wanted to, we could take a chunk out here, add something here, and we're coming up with different newer shapes, right? So now we can manipulate this. Now that we started with our basic geometry, right? Okay, this is pretty obvious, right? So, but here we'll make it. Now we're using this basis to inform, but not, or to guide and not, but not inform us, right? I feel like I'm really failing everybody out there. So,
not true. Got a little guy.
Well, okay. Let's say we have. Well, let's give it our entire geometry, right? There's that line that separates it, but it's not straight in the center, right?
Nothing in this world is straight. Not even you.
Wow. Anyway, so here we go. And now I'm going to take this out and move it out like this to give me a better round of it. I'm going to concave this, but I'm going to concave it, but I'm also going to convex here a little bit to give us a better view. This thing here, right? Then we'll concave here a little bit, give us a cooler head. In this, I'm going to add another an inverted geometry shape, as it were. Like, why am I getting like a sense of adventure time out of this?
Maybe we haven't been following the tutorial right, because I don't see any shapes making love here.
Sure they are. That was these two went together right here.
Oh, okay.
See how it went into each other? So I want to take this down.
That phrase.
What I wanted to say. Hit it here. And why am I drawing a cow? I don't know, because that's what the shape said. Or is that a cow? I guess we'd have to have little horns.
That was a little horsey guy. Like a pony.
It's a horse cow, like Avatar or something.
They probably have something like that, maybe.
Right. Well, you have seen the chicken pigs, right? Oh my gosh.
Chigs.
Jigs.
Sounds like a slur. I think I say that every stream.
It's because we were talking about the chogs.
That sounds like a slur.
And so, but basically, to give you an example of this. So I've used a circle, 2 cones, 4 cones actually, and a square to give us this guy. Right?
He's quite friendly.
Yeah, this is very, I would take this as an example of what I would want to do. Bring that down. Kind of give it a better viewpoint, but it helped to inform what I wanted to do, or it helped to guide what I wanted to do. And this, I think, is probably a better way. You'll end up getting to that where you learn this, and then now you can start adding to it a little bit more. I know this is boring.
It's not boring. I'm watching you make this thing. I want to call it Charlie.
Okay.
Or Chuck.
Like ground chuck? You're disgusting.
Okay, Charlie. So you ruined it.
Well, it is a cow, and you called it Chuck.
That's funny.
You kind of add more little concaves and things of that there to get a better idea.
He looks so cute. He looks southern coded.
Southern coated?
Coded, yeah. I bet he's got a nice accent on him.
And while those shapes that we did use, helped us, this gives us a little more of a cartoony look to them, I guess, whatever the case is, and that's how your shapes work. So with that was the conclave. All right. After we willed simple geometry, we're free to add and subtract from it, thereby complicating it. Complicated geometry is harder to weld, which is why we save the detailing pass for later. In 3D, these are known as Boolean operations and will often cause errors in the most sophisticated applications. Now, there's an author's note here. The append portion here was drawn on paper with a pencil. I find I have greater speed and control wielding and welding with these materials than I do with a computer. Find the methods which suit you best in your unique needs. And I agree with that. There is drawing this on the computer right now is not, it's about.
It's a different sensation.
It is. And for him, at this point in time, it's 2014, he's probably not even using a tablet like this. It's probably the thing right here. So now here's a fun one. Bevels. You have a standard bevel, an offset bevel, and incongruent shape bevels, and the reverse.
That's how they do gems and stuff.
Exactly. So bevels are other complicators to be considered after the underlying geometry is understood. It is interesting to note that the position and shapes of bevels don't need to be predictable. In fact, it's more interesting when they aren't, experimenting with offset setting bevels. So, let's see. An offsetting bevel. This is probably not going to work. This is not working the way I wanted it to. Okay, let's do an offsetting bevel. Here, there.
This looks like the state of Texas.
It looks like I have no idea what I'm doing.
Texas style.
This definitely takes some practice. It definitely does. To really get your head wrapped around it, I need to just take a sketchbook and draw bevels.
Clearly, you've never had a gym sauna.
A gym sauna?
Yeah.
What is a gym sauna?
A Steven Universe OC.
Is that a thing?
Oh, absolutely.
For real?
Yes. No, okay, have you... Such a random reference, but I was going to get this. Did you see the Uncle Grandpa Steven Universe crossover?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, Mr. Gus had a gym soda, and that's where I learned the term, and I made my own.
Cartoon Network sitting there taking gym soda. Yeah, and like Mike says it looks like a crystal. Exactly. So that's how you do the crystals. And Joe said, C is being on the spot. I'm being very open about this. Because, I mean, the thing about, like, I don't know. It comes back to being that irregular. Remember I was telling you about that?
You're used to being a regular.
Yeah. But it comes back to getting that. And
See, you're already getting better.
Yeah. Except for right here.
Good enough.
This feels like this should have been here. Yeah, no, I think this might be worse.
I like it.
Like,
maybe you should stick to regular.
Well, no. Well, let's put it this way. Okay, maybe my problem is I'm making too much of a puzzle piece out of this.
Maybe you
So,
have to have one flat side.
One or one like this,
and then get detailed on the other half.
Exactly, and now.
We're learning.
Right. So.
This is much more complicated now.
It's just like, that didn't help.
We did our best.
Well,
you did your best. I'm not doing anything, luckily. Because I could just blow you out of the water easily. I wouldn't want to embarrass you live.
C has it right, just not connecting it properly. Yeah. Even still, whatever.
Why don't you do it, huh? Genius.
Shut up. Don't be. I'm not that defensive about it. Golly.
Well, I am.
Let's say, but I think the best thing to do is I'm probably going to take a sketchbook and just sit there and draw a whole bunch of bevels and get an idea to wrap my head around that. I wonder how much that will increase my ability to art.
And then make a gym soda. The natural conclusion.
You really want me to make a gym
A
soda?
little bit. What do you think you'd be?
Look, Mike's like, I believe in you, see? Thank you. See? I have people who believe in me. I don't need you. Anyway, clones and arrays.
I didn't believe in you anyway, so.
I know. It's the problem. We're getting there, guys. When you've made a piece of geometry once, it's possible to make it again at different angles. Using the same welding technique, organic objects can be cloned and arrayed easily and precisely, as inconsistencies in size and angle will work in their favor. Accurate clones and arrays of man-made objects are the most tedious things to draw manually, a chief reason 2D artists turn to 3D programs for help.
Sure. And it is cheating, and I am proud.
Well, I mean, it does. I mean, yeah.
Sometimes it's necessary.
Sometimes it's necessary, as long as it's not.
Cuts the process.
There's an organic array, like things are uniform springs. Okay. And there's your computer version.
This looks old.
I don't like it though because it's very stiff to me. It
is,
doesn't.
But you can work around it. Like it's just laying the groundwork. You can work around it. Like you said with that book, you can have the complicated stuff and then you can dumb it down.
Like I said, did I accidentally make a Happy Days reference? And Joe from the desk of a small press publisher says, "I know you can do it. See, it's just your co-host putting you on the spot. I know she's mean."
That's what I do best.
Yeah, obviously.
Splines best under pressure.
So let's talk about splines of beauty. The S curve is considered to be a line of beauty. Remember I said that earlier.
Curvaceous.
Right. There is a sweep followed by a reversal of greater or lesser distance. In welding splines, we would be well to keep this small big part relationship in mind. So we have pleasing S curves, and then you have dull S curves. Huh.
Dull? But the other one looks more pleasing to me.
This one?
I like that, yeah.
And look, okay, well, no, but here I think the reason why is because the dull S curve is because they're equal size.
Yeah. It's flat, I get it.
Yeah, so like if you're making a person, I'm going to make a person. Damn it! What the hell? All right, make a person. So this, and then you get to wow, right?
Where's this going?
You know, what is it, baby? How you doing? You know. You see, you got the curvatures.
How did I know this is where we were gonna wind up tonight?
It's that booty. It's just pleasing. How did you know this is where we're going? How did you even know that this would be where we would line up? But so, okay, but if you do, okay, and that's the same thing. It's kind of, all right, whatever. But if you do a small one here, you do a big one here, and then another small one. Now you're adding to, you know, your flexibility, right? And oh, here's a person. Oh,
It's an interesting person.
that is a very interesting person. So anyway, let's.
Oh no. Oh, there it is.
All right. So let's see if we can't finish this up. So projected
Hold on.
projected symmetry.
No, I wouldn't have gotten that.
It's not enough to be able to draw symmetry in dead-on views. We must be able to do it in perspective with a minimal fuss. Here's a projected symmetry exercise to try. Draw a squiggly line or a series of random meaningless marks. All right, now try to think of this flat abstract as a three-dimensional spline or splines. Feel some points recede, allowing others to come forward. There is no infinite ways to interpret this, none of which are wrong. So fill receding advancing points.
Interesting. I think I had this practice when I was like 9. It was already too much for me.
It's too much for me. I've been doing this for a while. Now, introduce a plane. Tilt it in the way you wish, above or below, or to the sides of your planes. Okay, hold on.
Start over. What is happening?
All right, let's do this. All right. Let's get it up here. All right, let's do a squiggle. Right, here's a squiggle.
Definitely pretty squiggly.
There you go. Now, the next step is to now try to think of that flat abstract as a three-dimensional spline.
I cannot unsee a butt. You've done this. This is your fault.
Fill some points recede, allowing others to come forward. So,
It's pretty obvious where the forward is, to be honest.
yeah, I mean, you can kind of get it like this, right? Okay,
Fancy.
right.
It already looks really technical.
That's just from a spline. All right, now the next move was to now introduce a plane.
Big on wall. Ooh. Oh. You think you're funny?
I introduced a plane.
You think you're so clever. You think you're such a silly little man.
I am a silly little
Now draw 2 towers.
man.
Sorry. I'm just
We have an older audience.
Oh, so they would get the reference then. Okay.
Exactly. So, okay. So here we're introducing the plane. Now the next move was try to loosely mirror the points you see on the other side. Fuck you. What? Try to loosely mirror the points as you see them to the other side of that plane. Here's what it looks like. Here's what he's talking about. Yikes. So I got to try to do this. All right. So the points here, there's a point there. So let's put that point here. There's a point here. We'll put it there. So, no. No, we're going to do this again.
No. I already have trouble keeping up, and then you start over.
Okay. Do that there. Put the plane here. So here, over here. So it's going to do like this. And then have a plane out here.
I'm very interested in this.
Yeah. So something like that. This takes a lot of practice.
Why do you gotta go for the most complicated?
I don't know, because I like to punish myself. So anyway.
Apparently. Don't say that live though. Oh my, clip it. Clip it.
So once you've welded these points, weld them together to create a projected spline. I didn't do that right. You don't need to get this exactly right. Thank God.
Gave us permission.
The end result is a symmetrical wireframe armature. Shut up.
Snail or a sluggy thing? No, it's a snail.
It's a sluggy snail thing.
I like it.
No, it's a slug.
Okay, cool. It's
Yeah, that's not a
snail.
Yeah. So okay, armature, which you can use to construct whatever you like. What does this armature suggest to you? Are there any additional points you wish to add? Let's call this drawing under the influence of geometry. Use the armature as you see fit. Add points. Drawing under the influence of geometry.
That is one honker.
I feel like that's like that should be illegal to be driving under the influence of geometry.
It's just rocks.
So finally, here we have it. Conclusion. We won't always know how to draw something, but we might. At the very least, know its primitive makeup, the size of those primitives, and how they might be arranged in space. Once that partial geometry has been wielded, you can then connect the dots, welding in whichever manner pleases us. So I'm going to be practicing this in my spare time.
I've already mastered it.
Tracy is not mastering it, Jade.
Don't tell them that.
So,
Like they know.
Joe says math has too much power. Laughing my ass off. Well, here's the good thing about that is that we're learning this is helping us to avoid having to learn that math.
Exactly.
So that's a good
We
thing.
can put it into baby talk.
Right. The more freehand construction is practiced, the less it's needed. See? After some years gaining faculty with these techniques, or facility with these techniques, you stop making fun of me.
It's easy when I'm not the one talking.
I'm going to kick you off the show.
You let me be in charge once, and you'll be doing the same thing. Trust me.
Kicking you off the show? Probably.
Huh.
The more freehand construction is practiced, the less it's needed. After some years gaining facility with these techniques, you may find yourself able to do much of it in your head, like G, without having to describe any primitive geometry whatsoever. Some may ask, how are you able to draw without an underdrawing? To which you may answer, it's there, just invisible.
Ooh, it's mine.
It's my hope that this talk will make drawing a freer, more empowering experience to you when we wield and weld using our ever-deepening sense of perspective. There's no end to what can be conjured.
Fascinating.
A Pokemon.
Maybe.
This looks like Joe. This is Joe Mad art here.
Huh.
And again, this is all the stuff that is to help us understand what we're looking at and how to draw. So, Jaden.
Yep. That's me.
What do you think you took out of this today?
It's really fun to make fun of you, especially when you draw.
You're a jerk.
I am. I think I'm gonna have to reread it because most of what I've learned is just like.
Well, and that's the thing. That's what I've said. It's going to take something that takes practice to learn and to do. And at the end of the day, you're not going to be doing this continually. You're going to be.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be. It's gonna integrate itself
into
your work,
you,
whether you realize it or
right.
not.
But what makes me sad about that kind of thing is, I like techniques. I like learning the techniques. I like applying the techniques. So you mean to tell me after a while I won't even need these techniques?
Like I've sat here and I've
like,
studied all of these famous artists just to like come up with it on the spot. Are you kidding?
I can't tell you how many times you watch tutorials and you hear them say, "Oh, this is how you do it. I don't do it like this, but this is how you do it." Well, no, they don't do it like this. But what they're teaching you is those fundamentals to learn to get ingrained in you, so you can do it.
Like you want.
Learn to draw invisibly. There you go. That's how you should take
That's a snappy book.
Learn to draw invisibly.
Forget how to think when you draw.
Joe says, "I learned that I need to draw to try to do this more via freehand." I mean, once you get, I think the thing is, you realize how much better artist you become, the less lines you use.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I've definitely in the past 5 years I've noticed. You know how a lot of beginner artists and anyone who's starting out drawing does chicken scratches?
Yeah.
That is so many lines for no reason.
Yeah, well,
just one guideline would save you.
What you learn how to do your free hand.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Jaden, tell them where we can find you.
You can find me on Facebook under Jaden Lanning, and that's about it.
And you got what coming up?
Did some covers for Snowpaw. Did a print, limited edition. I think it's still running, right?
Yeah.
Only for the first 48 hours, and or was it?
I don't know.
Nope, it's done.
It's done.
It's done. Okay, you missed it. You should have been there. Anyway.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Maybe. Then I've got some Eager Raven covers. Maybe some stuff in the future. Who knows?
Maybe some stuff for the future.
Maybe.
And look, Mike said I just backed
Favorite
Snowpaw 3 with the Jaden Lanning cover.
Oh, you didn't miss it. Good job.
Well, just the cover. We weren't talking about the print. You were talking about the print.
Well, I'm so happy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Anyway, of course, you can always
For
check
doing
me
the
out
obvious.
at landingart.com. That's LANNING art.com. Right here on IndieComicsNetwork.com, where we have many shows, including the vlogs. We have Christy Shin, Paul Gomez, and Timothy Fling, as well as some of our old powerhouses. And of course, coming back next week, Saturday, will be busy for me because in the morning we will be starting Sketchy Saturday. So come and check that out. We'll have a couple of different artists on there, and who knows what we're going to get into. That I'm actually going to do traditional art, traditional sketching with that because it's sketchy. I want to do a little sketchy, right? So. Anyway, until next week, guess what we're going to talk about?
Hopefully something I know of.
Color theory.
Thank God. I love color.
Do you?
Yeah.
I hate color.
It's my favorite part of the process, but it also takes the longest and sucks.
Yeah.
It's the funnest though, for sure.
Well, I think we're going to check out,
and sucks.
what's it called? Color cinema.
Color cinema. Interesting.
Basically, they've taken stills from movies and stuff like that and pulled out the colors that we can look at in the color palette. So
learned that, yeah.
should it? But I mean, color theory, or should it be called color hypothesis? See how I did Jeff Goldblum there?
In the stream. Just stop while you're ahead.
Anyway, till next week when we talk about colors, and we're going to get into a fight then.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I know what I'm talking about.
Again, check out autodestructdigital.blogspot.com.
We cite our sources.
Yeah, exactly.
We like to shout out to those, smaller artists.
Is that what it is? No, yeah, because totally.
Those less developed.
Just maybe he'll be in your level one day.
Maybe. I don't know. Let's not.
Hi, what's up? I'm here, I'm out of the egg, and I am doing my thing.
What's your name?
How would I know? I just hatched. I don't know anything.
Did you say that clip for me?
That's that clip's always freaky. Anyway, till next week, guys. Bye.
You have been watching Art Style Kamikaze. If you've experienced headaches, bleeding, or a pleasurable euphoria, please consult a physician. Unless you like that kind of thing.